Hello everyone, Kiki Halbert here, and welcome to my channel. Welcome to Scrapbooking from the Heart, where we focus on some journaling and get you thinking about your layouts. So today, for this month, our theme is recreation. And so I thought about how I could apply all this. I do have a photo of my dog with all of her toys and after her recreation, and it got me to thinking. So you'll see how that happens. As well, I wanted to show you that later on in the video, you'll see a stamping mistake and how I corrected it and what you need to do to make sure you get a nice clear stamping image as well. So I've taken my leftovers of my pumpkin spice scrapbook workshop from Close to My Heart, and I've just taken some of the papers and I have cut them into 6-inch pieces, 6-inch square, and I'm going to lay them down onto a piece of paper cardstock that I know I'm probably never going to use, which I think is mink in color. Maybe it's light gray, I'm not even certain, but as it turns out, it works with the colors of the layout of the papers. So I'm just adhering those down. I'm going to keep the very busy patterns in the corners and then the dots in other corners. And you'll see I'm working with some adhesive that I'm not really thrilled with, but I have a lot of it, so I'm trying to get it used up. But I'm getting my base down, so it's just going to be a really simple layout. But I did want to get this down and use this photo because I thought this photo was really precious. And when you see how it comes into play with recreation, I think it's really kind of cute. So I had to use it for this layout for sure. And I'm loving all the colors from the pumpkin spice collection as well. So I wanted to make sure to get the use out of it that I could. So what I'm doing here is I am just layering some papers behind the photo, using the rest of the scraps or some more of the scraps, just to add some more interest to this particular photo. And I thought this photo went really well with the colors of the papers. So that's why I decided to use it. And I'm going to use, you'll see that I don't have this gray, the gray plaid and the Harbor background paper there with the pumpkins and everything on it, that I'm using for a main page because I love it so much that I used almost all of it up. So that's why you only see little bits and pieces of it. But I don't care. I'm going to use up little bits. I'm also going to show you how you can use your zip strips. So these zip strips came from the 2 pieces of paper that I had left over from the kit. And I am just going to lay them down a little bit and get those on the back of the paper. I think they lend themselves really well because they're nice and dark, and the orange, I love the little orange acorns, and so I'm just adhering those. I do want to let you know while I'm doing this that there is Scrapbooking from the Heart is a hop that happens with several talented ladies, and we do this on the 28th of every month. And so I welcome you to look in my description box to see all of the ladies that are going to be playing along, and make sure that you visit their websites because they will all be using the same theme of recreation in different ways. And some focus more on journaling, some think very differently about recreation. And so it's kind of a fun way to take a prompt and use it in a variety of different ways and see everybody's different takes on it. So I'm just going to finish up with matting this photo with all these different layers of paper. I'm not taking any and putting them up on foam. I don't want this to be too thick. I am going to be using some dimensional objects later. And I'm using a Prima tool to just distress the edges so that they stand out a bit more. Excuse me. And one side is a very rough distress, and the other side is a sander. So I do happen to really love those. I am not going to actually center the picture. I'm going to make sure that it overlaps all 4 papers, just even if it's a little bit, just so that it's the eye will be drawn to it because it's not straight. And To me, that is really important, that the photo is what the person looks at first, but then they have a place to rest their eyes as well. So some of these papers are very busy, but that's why I have the photo on the paper that is the least busy, so that it doesn't distract you. So I'm just going to put this down and layer this over. I'm going to also be using these wood veneer stickers from Close to My Heart. So these are only available for a limited time. They came out in the September-October catalog. So if you need them now, now's the time to get them, because they'll disappear pretty quickly. I made sure to get a stash because I love them that much. They're very thin, which is really nice. Like, I would say they're probably a 1/16 of an inch thick. They're almost like, they are a veneer, but they're very, very thin. And so you do have to be careful taking off the sticker backing off of them, so that you don't end up ripping the veneer. But it is nice to have the different texture on the page. And so I've done a little bit of that. I'm also, instead of putting a marking around the edge, putting a border around the edge of the entire layout, I'm actually bordering all of the pages, the individual 6x6 pages. And I think that just adds some whimsy to the page. It's just some interest too for some of the papers where I'm not going to do much on them at all because they're busy already. So that I keep this focused on the photo and the journaling. So speaking of journaling, let's get to it. So what I'm going to be doing is using this Close to My Heart excuse me, stamp and die cutting set. And so I'm going to, it creates a pocket and a library card for you to use for your journaling. So I'm pulling out my Close to My Heart die cutting machine, and I'm just going to set this up so that I'm going to print out the little pocket in the papaya, which is a new color for this year, and then I'm going to journal onto the shortbread paper, colored paper. So I'm just working on that. And forgive me if this is a little long. I thought I had edited this enough, but it's been a while since I've posted a video, and I apologize for that. I know you guys have been looking for things from me, and I've just had a lot going on lately. But I am going to get around again to doing some more Facebook videos and YouTube videos and Facebook Lives. So hopefully you'll stay tuned and keep watching those. I am actually going to take the videos from the Facebook Lives, hopefully, and also put them up on YouTube, so that if you aren't part of my inspiration group on Facebook, or you don't have a Facebook account, you'll still be able to see my videos from that I do there. And I think that's really important, because not everybody's on the same social media. So I'm just running these two dies through in the different colors. So you'll see I've got the papaya. And then it creates this, it's just basically a rectangle with corners. So if you don't have this die, you could literally make these yourself just by cutting a rectangle and cornering the rectangle, or rounding the corners. So I have a very big block that I have from, it was Hero Arts or Ranger or one of those. Excuse me. And this is a really large stamp. It doesn't have the, it just goes straight across. It doesn't have like the outline, and that's on purpose. So that you can just stamp it as much as you want, or as high as you want up on the library card or whatever. I am going to be using Harbor ink, and here you'll see me make that mistake. So I'm inking up the stamp really well, but I forgot to put my foam underneath my stamp. So, excuse me, pardon me, my throat's really dry. So watch what happens. Even though I press really well, and I've seasoned the stamp really well, when it comes up, the center is dead space. So that's why your close to my heart makers will always tell you, use your little foam piece, put it underneath your item, and then try again. And you'll see this time around I get a solid inked stamp right through the middle and everything. And it's all because of the foam. So I'm just going to peel this off. I will clean this later. And I'm just going to look, because this stamp set actually has all the days of the year and everything, the months, but it's also got some cute little sayings, but I'm going to leave it alone. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put away these dies before they get lost, because they're very skinny and small. I'm going to put them away with the stamp that they go with. And I'm going to show you how to create that pocket from the papaya paper that I've already cut out. And it's really easy to use these. They're already scored for you, so you just have to fold them, and remember that when you put the glue down, you want to put them down only on those flaps. So what I'm going to do is, just to add a little bit of extra dimension to the layout, is I'm actually going to put these up on thin foam tape. So you could use red line tape for this if you wanted to. You could use tape adhesive, tape runner. It's entirely up to you, but I decided to use some foam tape just so that it would be popped off the page a little bit more, and it would be easier for me to tuck that tag into the pocket. So I thought about putting it on a little bit of an angle as well, but I decided not to. I decided I'm going to keep the card and the pocket straight, but more off to center. I think it looks better that way. Kind of draws the eye in, and so I'm just going to, now that I've got the card in there, I'm just going to take off the backing of the foam tape and put it where I want it. And I keep the card in there because it's hard to tell just how big the card is. So now the card's going to be placed there. And so now I'm going to write my journaling while I'm thinking of it. So I said before that this is about recreation. So my journaling says, Gorda loves toys, maybe too much, which got me to thinking that maybe too much recreation can be a bad thing. Excuse me. If it tuckers me out, can I really say that I'm ready to go? Have I recreated my drive, my energy, my spirit? All things in moderation, I guess. So that's my take on recreation. It should always be energizing. It should always be, rejuvenate your spirit. If you're doing too much of it, when you think about the word, it's like recreation. So you do want to do it in a balanced way, I guess. That was kind of what I took. And the reason that I thought of this with this picture is that Gorda wants to play with toys 24/7, but she ends up being so tuckered out that she ends up falling asleep on top of her toys. That can't be exactly comfortable. But yeah, this was her as a puppy, and the reason the Home Sweet Home is there is when we adopted her, she had come from Mexico, and so this was totally different. So she was just in a lap of luxury as far as she was concerned. She's still got lots of toys, and I spoil her like crazy, but it's still fun to see her playing with the toys, and yeah, and she plays with the toys and then gets tired of them, and then she's tuckered out and needs a nap. So it's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing for mommy because it gives me some time to work and craft. But yeah, she needs to, she inspired me to think about how I use recreation. So here I am just pulling out some of the new acrylic hearts in black. Excuse me. I swear I have a frog in my throat tonight. And I also pulled out one of the arrows. I love this little squiggly arrow. So it'll just show that the journaling does have to do with Gorda. And the reason that I'm using my sticky specs is because these are very thin pieces. They're very delicate, and I just find they give a really good adhesion on acrylic pieces to begin with. They don't budge around. They don't slide around like they would with glue. They really stick, and once you've got them down, that's it. They're stuck there. But I did manage to get some sticky specks on both sides of my acrylic pieces. So I pulled out my glue eraser to just take the excess glue off of them. And so I'm just adding a few more of those little hearts. Got a couple I'm going to put on the pocket. And then I also have pulled out some autumn sequins from close to my heart as well. These are all close to my heart items, by the way. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to add, excuse me, a little black heart over there, so that there's kind of now a diagonal line across the page that draws your eye. So I thought that was kind of cool. That was unintentional. That was just how it felt better to me. So I left it like that. Now I'm putting some splatters of gold spray down. This is Heidi Swap Color Shine. And I'm going to use my paper towels to just get some of the wetness off. I find it's so wet that sometimes it looks kind of dirty on the paper around the gold, but I do love the gold shimmer from it. And now I'm just going to put some glue dots down of where I need my sequins, where I want my sequins to be. Going to use a variety of them from the autumn sequins, so lots of fun to play with. Excuse me. Oh, I swear I'll be much better next time. So if you take this as some inspiration, please play along with us. We would love to have you join the talented ladies that are in the description box below. Or you can just comment with a link to where your layout is posted so that we can take a look and give you some love as well. And remember to visit all the ladies in the description box below so that you can give them some love to their layouts. And there's so many talented ladies there, so make sure to visit them all and see what their takes were. And I really appreciate you being here and sticking with me despite an absence that I've had for a bit. If you enjoyed this layout and this video, please give me a like and consider subscribing to my channel. I'd really appreciate that. And we stay tuned because I will have more videos back up and running again on a regular basis. As I said, the ladies have been busy the whole time, so I'm just gonna hold this up so you can see. And as I do that, then I noticed, like, oh yeah, there's another glue dot. So I'm such a goof. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this. Stay tuned for more videos on my channel, and thanks for being here. Have a good one.